Hello, freight broker family. I hope you're well today. I hope your families are well. Today I want to talk to you about how I see the finances of a business. When I look at a business, I look at a business as a producer. I look at it as what they call the golden goose. It is going to go out and produce revenue, produce income, produce profits for the business, right? And what I do as a business owner is I take a look at income that's being produced by the business and I say, okay, how can I increase my overall income? What else can I add to the services that I provide to increase the income, right? I also look at my debt picture. How much debt am I exposed to right now? If I had to pay all of it at once, would it be any problem to do so? And then I take a look at my investments, because another part of how I see business is when that business produces income. Well, me as a business owner, I am going to take that income and invest it so that it grows, because I believe that money has responsibilities. I have to employ money. I have to make sure it's doing its job. It has a job to produce more money, right? And it won't do that on its own. I have to make it do that. I have to have a strategy, an approach to make money produce money, right? So there are various ways that I do that. So most of the money that I make will go back into investments, because I'm not just living for today. I know tomorrow is coming. I know that there's a very real possibility that things can be great today and tomorrow it can be raining outside. So I want to be prepared for the things that are to come. At the same time, I want to live now, enjoy the life that I'm living now. And in order for me to have success in my life in these areas, I have to make the right financial decisions today. Let's take a look at debt for a minute, because debt seems to be a big problem for most people that live in this country, in America, right? I think it says that 78% of people, of employees in America, live check to check. Debt has a big part, or plays a big part in that, right? So let's talk about how I look at debt from a business owner perspective. Now, do I use debt? First of all, let me say yes, I do use debt, right? But I use debt from the standpoint of I'm never gonna get more debt in my business than I can pay off and not feel any problem with it, right? Because I believe the more debt that I put myself in as a business owner, the more risk I expose myself to, right? So I just don't see the need to expose myself to risk when I don't have to, or I don't have to as much, right? Because right now I carry a very small amount of debt. I have several credit cards in my business, but the debt of the business is not more than $10,000. As a matter of fact, I think it's about $8,800 that we have in debt for the business right now. And that's on a business line of credit. And we'll always have some debt on that business line of credit because of how we do business. But we're not going to be in debt where we couldn't go in and make a payment and be out of debt and not be hurt by it. That's kind of how I look at debt right now. Now, maybe I'll evolve over time. Maybe I'll do some changing and go to a different strategy, but that has been my strategy for some time, and it has worked for me. I see people talking about leveraging debt, and I think that that's good for a small fraction of people in the world, in the United States, right? There are people who can do that and do that well, who are trained. That's what they've been doing. They know how to do that. When we talking about these Wall Street guys and ladies, they know how to leverage debt. That's what they do. But that's not my game. So I don't go in and try and play a game that, I don't do well in, especially when I'm playing with my money or with somebody else's money that I borrowed. I'm not going to play that game because I don't understand that game. I'm not about going out and leveraging a whole lot of debt. That's just not how I do business, right? I more so see, hey, how can I expose myself to the least amount of debt and still make very good profits? Now, here's how I see investing. I'm very comfortable with investing in the stock market. I invest most of the profits of the business back into the U.S. stock market. Now, we also have international plays as well, but most of the money is on the stock market side. Outside of the stock market, we invest also in cryptocurrency. We have a small position in cryptocurrency and real estate, right? So I'm comfortable in those areas of investment. Here's how I see the stock market, because that's the bulk of my money is in the stock market, right? I don't lose sleep at night at all when the stock market goes down. I don't worry about it at all. How I see it, here in America, we have certain outlets where we can go in and get a return on our money. I look at the stock market as being one of those outlets. As a matter of fact, I think it's one of the best ones that we have. It has a track record, a history of being solid over a long period of time. I think it's almost 100 years, and the stock market has returned about a 10% return. So I am totally fine with investing in the stock market. The risk that I expose myself to there, I don't lose any sleep, right? Now, when it comes down to those other plays that I talk about, cryptocurrency, that's a very small portion of my overall portfolio, right? So if it blew up tomorrow, it wouldn't matter. And we know how volatile crypto is. That's why I have such a small play in that area. So it's about doing what you are comfortable with, what you are familiar with. For example, a good buddy of mine just called me recently. He said, hey, B, did you take a look at Amazon? Amazon had a stock split. Now, instead of paying $2,700, $3,000 for the stock, they're going to split it and you can get 20 for 1, like $130 for the stock now. Well, I told him, man, that's good, man. But that's not my game. That's not a game that I play. I don't go in and buy single stocks. So because something happens, I don't go in and run behind something that I don't do. So I think it's about playing your game. Now, this is how I see savings. I really don't do a whole lot of saving at all in my business. I have an emergency savings account for my household, right? So if anything goes wrong, I have X amount of months that I can live on based on my savings account, right? An emergency savings account. If emergency pops up, I can go ahead and take care of that emergency through the savings account and not be affected, right? Now, I have not established that same type of emergency account for my business. I don't have an emergency savings account for the business. As a matter of fact, I only have about $300 in a savings account for Alliance Logistics. Because me personally, I don't feel there's a need for a savings account. I don't have the time and enough money to sit back and sit down in a savings account right now. I need money working. Money has a job and it has to do its job, and I have to be the one that's pushing it to do that. So sitting in a savings account, I'm not making any money with it sitting in the savings account. Matter of fact, I'm losing money, especially in the environment that we're in with inflation running at about 7.5 to 7.9, almost 8% now. So I have X amount of dollars in a savings account minus 8% right off the top. So I'm not into saving as far as my business is concerned. I want to have as many dollars as I can working. Now, the reason why I made this video today is because I wanted you to get some idea of what somebody outside of you, how somebody else sees money, how they see finances in a business. Because when we only have our own thoughts, we can only look at what we see, that can kind of be like, man, I would like to know what somebody else would think, how they would look at finances. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to take a look at this video, see some of the things that I'm doing, and you say, hey, you know what? I like some of what he's doing. I am going to start to do some of that in my own business. So I'm not saying that you should take it and do everything that I'm doing, right? Because what I'm doing has worked for me in my own life. It's my personal experience. So it doesn't mean that it won't work for you, but it doesn't mean that it will work for you either. So you just have to go in and do what you think is the best thing for you. Make the best decisions for you. At the end of the day, all of the answers are inside of you, right? You just need confirmation that you are on the right track, in a sense. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I certainly hope this information has been helpful. If you're interested in learning more about the freight broker business, I'll leave a free link in the description. It's my 5-video series, and I titled it, How the Load Movement Process Works. It gives you a chance to come into the office with me and watch as I move loads. I talk to shippers and carriers. That way you can get a better understanding of how the business works before you jump into it. And then if you want to know more about how we go out and get the shippers that we work with, how we get our customers, I'll leave a free video right here. So until the next time, I wish you the very best in your life and business. See you at the top, because the bottom is much too crowded.